Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa sallallahu ala rasulillah. We're reading from the book entitled A Brief Explanation of the Summary, and this is a book pertaining to the personal obligatory knowledge of Islam. This is session 20. In our last session, we were talking about the attributes of Allah, and we mentioned that Allah has innumerable attributes, but the scholars of Islam, they mention that there are 13 attributes in particular the mukallaf, the accountable person, is obliged to know. And those 13 attributes are existence, and we mentioned this in the last session. Allah Ta'ala revealed Afillahi shak, which means there is no doubt about Allah's existence. Oneness, that Allah is the one and only God, that Allah Ta'ala is not a body, is not composed of parts or pieces, not composed of organs or limbs or instruments. And Allah Ta'ala revealed وَإِلَهُكُمْ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدٌ, which means that your Lord, your God, is one God. And Allah is eternal and everlasting. Eternal we're using in the sense of being beginningless, and everlasting without an end. And Allah revealed هُوَ الْأَوَّلُ وَالْآخِرُ, which means that Allah is without a beginning and without an end. His existence has no beginning or end. And non-neediness of others, al-qiyamu bin-nafs, as Allah revealed, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ عَنِ الْعَالَمِينَ, or as Allah revealed, Allahu Samad, which both those verses, they contain the meaning that the Creator is free of need, is not dependent upon any of the creations. And we mentioned that Allah is attributed with power, as Allah revealed, إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ, and which means that Allah has power over all the creations. And Allah is attributed with will, as Allah revealed فَعَالٌ لِمَا يُرِيدُ, which means that Allah is the one who does whatever He wills. And Allah is attributed with knowledge, as Allah revealed إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. And we mentioned that Allah Ta'ala is attributed with hearing and with the attribute of sight. So Allah Ta'ala is attributed with hearing and sight, and it's not related to organs or instruments or body parts. Allah Ta'ala hears without devices. So Allah Ta'ala, his hearing, the hearing of Almighty God, is not like our hearing, as Allah revealed, وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ, which contains the meaning that Allah has the perfect attributes of hearing and sight. And Allah revealed about Himself, Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum, which is a proof that Allah, the glorified, is attributed with life. And we mentioned that the life of Allah is without a material body, and it's without a spiritual body. God, Allah, is not a spirit or a soul, and the soul or spirit does not unite or become one with God. This is the belief of some of the false Sufis, who they deem that their souls unite with Allah, or that they become Allah. This is clearly blasphemy. Allah Ta'ala is attributed with life, and it's not like the life of the created things. And Allah is attributed with the attribute called Al-Kalam. And Allah confirmed this attribute to Himself in Al-Quran. Allah revealed, وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى تَكْلِيمًا, which means that Allah revealed His eternal kalam unto Prophet Moses. Now today we're going to finish by talking about the 13th attribute on the list, the attribute of non-resemblance to the creations, al-mukhalafatu lil-hawadith. So the author said, this is page 28 from the text, Allah is clear of any of the attributes of the creation, because the attributes of the creations indicate that they are the creatures, the created entities, and they are in need of a creator. Had Allah been attributed with any of these attributes, then Allah would have been in need of the one who created Him, and Allah is clear of that. So we take it back, and the Aqidah is very easy to understand if you follow basic principles. That God is one. That means that only God creates. So that means everything other than God is created. So with that understood, you understand that God is beginningless, because God does not have a start, was not brought into existence. God is beginningless, and God alone is beginningless. God existed, Allah existed before time or place. Allah Ta'ala, Almighty God, existed before the creation of place, and place obviously is not God, it is other than God. God, who existed before place and was not in need of place before creating place, did not change or transform or develop and become in need of place. And the same can be said of direction, because direction is related to place. So Allah Ta'ala exists without being in a place, because Allah Ta'ala is absolutely different from all the created things. Now, the ayah that stands as the strongest proof regarding this is the ayah from the Quran. Allah revealed لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, and this is from the text. It says the proof that Allah does not resemble the creations is the verse of the Quran from Surah Tashura, which I just recited, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, which means that there is absolutely nothing like Allah whatsoever. And this is the core of what we talked about previously in our sessions from At-Tahawi and here. The core of Islamic belief about Almighty God is tanzih. Tanzih means the belief in the absolute incomparability of Allah Ta'ala, that there's absolutely nothing at all in any way whatsoever that is similar to the creator of the universe. Allah Ta'ala is Almighty God and deserves to be worshipped alone. Now the text goes on to say, we're on page 29, since eternity is confirmed to the reality or self, that of Allah, then His attributes are eternal, because a created attribute entails that the attribute itself is created. And what this means is that since we know God, Allah, is beginningless, then His attributes are beginningless. Just as we know about the creations, they have a start, then their attributes have a start. And the explanation. This statement means that the thing which is attributed with created attributes must itself be a created thing. It is not permissible that Allah would be attributed with a created attribute. Yet some of those who resemble Allah to the creations say that Allah's kalam is letters and sounds like our speech. And they mean the kalam, the eternal kalam. They say the eternal kalam is letters and speech. Their saying is blasphemy because it entails likening Allah to the creations. Some of those even go further in their absurdity and say Allah's kalam is letters and sounds like our speech. However, these letters and sounds are eternal, that is, have no beginning. Their first statement contradicts their second one. Obviously, those people do not have sound, rational judgment for their position. By simple observation, we know that the letters and sounds are created. In saying the word bismi, ba, sin, mim, one observes beyond doubt that the B sound was pronounced before the S sound, which was pronounced before the M sound. What happens in succession, definitely it has a beginning and is a creation. Anything that happens sequentially, meaning in a sequence, that means something came before the other, and something started, then something started after, and so on. So anything that has a start clearly has to be created. And the author said, it is confirmed by the rational proof and by the textual proof, meaning from the revelation, that the reality of Allah is beginningless. Since the reality of Allah, the self, the that of Allah, is eternal, then it follows that the attributes of Allah are also eternal. In both of his books, Fiqh al-Abthat and Fiqh al-Akbar, Imam Abu Hanifa said, radiyallahu anhu, وصفاته غير محدث ولا مخلوق ومن زعم أنها محدث أو مخلوقة أو شك أو توقف فهو كافر. And the saying of Imam Abu Hanifa, it means the attributes of Allah are not created, meaning they are beginningless. Whoever claims that the attributes of Allah are created, or doubts about it, or hesitates, like he's confused about whether or not they are created, then this person is a blasphemer. Because Allah alone is beginningless, Allah's attributes are beginningless, Allah's attributes do not develop and go through a state of change. Allah Ta'ala does not resemble any of the creations. Walhamdulillah, wa sallallahu ala rasulillah, and Allah knows best.